It is the Frank and Friends show. Hi, I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
Well, you came back for another one, so that's always a good sign.
I know. I'm still your friend, so here we are.
We appreciate you liking, sharing, subscribing, all the things. Gently tap the subscribe button on YouTube so that you can see all of our episodes, some of the ones that we're just here chatting, and some of the ones where we're out and about doing our Smoky Mountain adventures. Also, we've got a website,
which is frankandfriendshow.com. So make sure you check us out there too for all of our videos.
Yeah, that has the links to everything because we want you to. Thanks to you, we've gotten quite a few more Instagram followers.
You know, I have a lot of soprano friends who are following us now. So
I noticed. That's lovely. I'm excited about it, and they seem to really enjoy the pictures of you in front of some kind of mural. So I put one on my own personal Instagram, hoping to catch some of that magic. Of course, I picked the one where I'm sticking out my tongue like a butterfly.
You did a great job leaving the caterpillar's body and becoming a butterfly.
So that was in our Smoky Mountain Harvest Fest episode, if you want to look for that one online, as we keep marching onward. But you've been out and about. Here's the funny thing for me, is that in this episode, this one that we're talking about, you actually said to Amanda Marr that you were going to plan a Sevierville vacation, and I didn't take you seriously because I said, "Oh, I'll come along. We'll make an episode out of it." And you looked at me like, "No."
No, this is my vacation.
Right,
you're inviting yourself to.
I didn't take you seriously. I thought you were just saying that, "Oh, this sounds like a great idea. Oh, we should come back and go to the Moonshine and Shine and Dine Festival," even though I'm fully aware that we both have plans that night. But you have to say it, you know.
You do,
nice sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I actually forgot. We actually did go up to the mountains, and I went on one of the trails that she suggested.
Oh, fantastic! The driving trail.
The driving trail, yeah, Bluff Mountain driving trail.
That's good.
And, it's actually kind of misleading.
Because it's the mountain's real, it's not a bluff?
Yeah, it's not a bluff at all. The mountain is totally real. And I'm sure in the fall it becomes very, very beautiful. But, you have this expectation.
It's too soon. It's still September when we're doing this.
It's too soon. It's still beautiful. Yeah. But you have this expectation that when you get to the top of the mountain, you're going to get to, get out of the car and, explore. At least this is my
What, there's going to be a parking lot?
There's going to be a parking lot, yeah, and you can get out and see some beautiful view or whatever.
No.
No. So you go up all these windy little hills.
Switchbacks, yeah.
Yeah, which is sort of terrifying.
Well, if you're not driving, it can be car sick inducing.
That's true. I was driving, so I was okay on that side. But you get to the top and you get to a dead end, and
That's it.
And
there's no mountain switchbacks going down the other side?
No, you have to kind of loop around and reverse. And so we were like, well, wait, there's supposed to be this tower at the top that they talk about on the website.
On Bluff Mountain?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's supposed to be some radio tower. And so we started going back and we were looking, and there was a person who was parked outside of this gate.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah, so we think, okay, maybe that's it. We reverse backwards on this small mountain trail, which is not a good idea, but anyway, we reversed.
How else are you going to do it?
I don't know. So James hopped out of the car and he went up to see, okay, who are these people who have jumped out of the car and escaped? Well, there is a radio tower over there.
Okay, what kind? Oh, that's probably too advanced. I'm sorry. I want to know what frequency. Is it AM? Is it FM? Is it a ham site? Because I might know the people,
I have no idea.
Never mind. Sorry, that was a little bit of a Frank tangent.
No idea.
Probably a little too much.
Well, it's okay.
All
right. Never too much. So anyway, he jumps out of the car to go investigate a little bit, and there are some teenagers basically climbing up on this tower, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, it's fine. On the website,
climbing up on a radio tower?
Yeah. It does suggest on the website that you shouldn't do that.
You know what else suggests that you shouldn't do that? Is electricity. That's what, oh my God. All right, if this were, I don't know what kind of tower this is. It might have been a cell phone tower. It might have been a ham radio tower, but if it happened to be an actual broadcast tower, you could get fried.
Yeah.
Because when we have, I'm thinking of an example of engineer Tim Berry tells the story about his 9/11 story, is that the radio station, the news talk station, happened to be running at reduced power that day because they had tower climbers. So they actually lowered the amount of electricity going through the tower so as not to harm the people on the tower.
Yeah.
So he had to drive as fast as he could to get to the tower and say, everybody off.
Yeah.
And as soon as they were off, they cranked up it back to full power because it was a major news day. They had much to report.
Right.
But he obviously had to think of the safety of the people climbing the tower. And if you're just some rando scaling a fence and climbing a radio tower, I mean, they may be permanently neutered.
So
they may not be able to have children.
So I should clarify, we didn't climb any fences.
No, you didn't.
No.
But these kids, these
no, they didn't
teenagers.
either. So there was just like there's two separate, so they have all the radio.
Panicked.
I know, don't worry. There are two separate towers. They've got the radio towers that, have the wired fences around them.
Okay.
And then there's this other just random, like, beat up tower.
Oh, maybe it's turned off.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it was turned on or anything like that.
Well,
it wasn't covered.
Yeah, I mean, bringing a tower down is quite a large undertaking. So if you can just leave it be, then you would just leave it be.
It just seemed like some metal stairs and some boarded, platforms, but very, very rickety.
Did you get a picture?
I did get a picture.
Of you, or is it just of the woods?
It's basically of the woods.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't go up the tower very far. I went up just the first rung just to see. It's like, okay, let's get back in the car and drive down this windy hill. So,
good.
Yeah.
But you went on a Smoky Mountain adventure.
We did.
Because you watched it on our show.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I watched it on our show and then went on the adventure.
And which car did you take? Because I know you've gotten, you're in the process of revolving cars because you've got your in-laws' old car and you've got your car and you're getting rid of one or keeping one.
Yeah, so we drove James's car, which is my parents' old car. And
your parents, right?
Yeah,
his in-laws.
Yeah, that's because my car had this little check engine light, or what I thought was a check engine light on it.
Well, it looks like an engine.
It
looks like it's got like
got like some,
It's got a shape and it's got a engine light on it.
Looks dangerous. It's red.
Sometimes it says the words check engine.
Sometimes, but I don't know. So I
can pull up a picture of a check engine light if you need to know what they look like. They're Googleable.
Okay, well, I just assumed it's a red light. It's terrible.
It's a red light on the dashboard. Red light on the dashboard is never good.
Not a good idea.
It could be the oil. It could be the battery. It could be
Exactly. So, I told James, and we've been talking about making a car appointment because now you can't just drop your car off. You have to make an appointment 3 weeks out.
Are that many cars of your kind of car breaking down? Do they break down with such frequency that
I guess?
you got to get on the waiting list?
It's under warranty, so I wanted to make sure, we took it to the people who could take care of that. So anyway, I mean,
technically, I make an appointment when I take my car, and usually I call and say, "Hey, can I bring it by tomorrow?" They're like, "Yeah."
I know, you don't think you should make an appointment for your car.
Or, but I like to give them a heads up that I'm coming,
Yeah.
Or maybe leave it the night before so they know it's going to be there in the morning, that kind of thing.
They told us October 15th.
Oh, and at that point we're having this conversation, or you had that was already a week ago, so that's now, that's like a 4-week gap?
Exactly.
Oh. So
I decided, since we have this extra car and that's cooled off now, James can drive the Subaru without air conditioning, and I'm going to drive his car. So on Sunday morning, I took his car, and apparently I also took his keys to the Subaru.
Yeah.
And so
he's stranded?
He was stranded, but he needed his phone completely broke, and so he needs to go to the store to get a phone. And
that's an odd feeling, because my wife went out to choir practice on Monday night, and somehow she took my car because it's nicer or newer, whatever. She wanted to take my car, and the key to my car popped off of her carabiner during choir practice.
Oh no!
So she gets out to the car and is calling me saying, "I've got bad news. I can't find the key to your car. You're going to have to come and get me." I'm like, "Well, you also have the key to your car, which is here. I do not. I have no means of driving over there." And in the course of all, we're about to, ratchet it up to 11. And then the maestro says he found it. Someone turned it into him.
Oh, that's good.
So everything was fine in the course of this 1-minute phone conversation. But imagine that, when you're off, the spouse is off with all the keys to all the cars.
And he doesn't have a phone. So
he's like going to be one of those guys. You ever see those guys? I always find them shady, but I usually run into them in downtown Knoxville. Hey man, can I
borrow your phone?
I just gotta make a call.
It's really important.
And I never believed them. But imagine if that was James, I have to rethink my priorities.
You do. I'm glad that we could have this conversation so that you could reevaluate your priorities.
I know what I could do though. Is I could real quick sign up for a new Google Voice number. So
You could.
So here's your new phone number. Here, take it with you.
Yeah, take it. Yeah.
Here, I'll sign up for it. Give us your email. There you go. Here's your new number. Go make the call. Get out of here.
Yeah. So fortunately for Apple, he texted me on his computer.
Oh, right. You got the iMessage.
And he found that he found my keys, and so he was like, "Well, I'm going to take your car." And so he takes my car and
the check engine light.
with the check engine light over to AT&T, and when
they're not going to fix the check engine light.
I know.
Why would you take a car with a check engine light to a phone store?
Exactly.
Oh, because he needed to make a call.
Exactly.
He had to go borrow a phone. Oh, so he immediately went and got a phone.
That's
how urgent this was.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't give him another. That's a whole nother story. But
all right.
Well, when he got back, he said, "You want the good news or the bad news?" And I said, "Both." And he said, "Well, the good news is that the light in your car was just indicating that your tires." The tire pressure was low. Oh. So I filled your tires up and now the light is gone. I was like, oh, great.
So it was check tire, not check engine.
I guess, yeah.
Well, did it look like a tire with kind of a flatter bottom and an exclamation point in the middle?
I guess, if you describe it like that.
That's what the tire light looks like.
It was red.
Yeah, red, yellow. Some of them were yellow, some of them were red. In my car, that comes on almost every time we go on a long road trip. And I took it to the tire guy. He's like, well, who fills my tires with nitrogen?
Nice.
And he's like, and I mean, if you want, we can maybe bring it back and maybe put a little more nitrogen in there. But just so you know, the way these things actually work is they don't actually measure the tire pressure. It measures when your anti-slip or anti-lock thing kicks in, implying that you may have lower tire pressure. That could happen in there if you hit a patch of water. Oh yeah, we were driving through a massive rainstorm for 500 miles. It's like, yeah, that would do it.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that might have been, but still, I also now have been told where the secret button is on my car to turn off the tire pressure light.
Really?
Yeah, it's hidden down under there, like past the gas station flip and past the trunk opening. There's another switch down in there somewhere that I can press and hold, and it'll turn off the tire pressure light.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you just don't have to fix your tires.
I still would have them checked. I mean, if I'm going to go to the trouble to put nitrogen in the tires, which I never would have in the past. I just happened to, I made an appointment to have my car serviced, and the guy says, you're going to need new tires. I'm like, can you do it? He's like, yeah, but you might want to take it over to this other guy because he's got coupons on my mechanic says, well, we don't work on regular tires. We only work on...
Oh, well, they only work on the fancy tires.
We only work on Michelins or whatever. It's like two kinds of tires they allow. I'm like, oh. I told you about my mechanics,
No.
Yeah, I think they just listen to NPR and...
Nice.
They only work on Hondas and Toyotas and Acuras and Lexus. They only work on those four kinds of cars, all made by the same two companies. It's a very, it's kind of an exclusive...
It sounds very exclusive.
Yeah, and I do make appointments, and they only apparently work on certain kinds of tires, which I can get from another guy who had this coupons and rebates and whatnot. And they fill them with nitrogen, and they do all the things. And it turns out the other guy, the tire guy, also it's a body shop, a wrecker shop, and it was a great deal for me because they bought my old car for $200 and towed it away.
Well, that was nice.
I was excited about it.
Yeah, that's great.
Speaking of old things being towed away... If someone dies and they don't want to be buried and they want to go to the body farm, Dr. Bill Bass is credited with starting the body farm. And now he's still at age 93 out there doing lectures, in fact, I was just on the phone making an appointment to work with Dr. Bass in February of 2022.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're talking about the Rose Glen Literary Festival is on the books finally again. And they want me to MC and they want Dr. Bass to do the stuff. And in the course of it, you know me, Kathryn, in the course of it, I had this idea for a spin-off presentation that we could do, somewhere in the Smokies. I'm like, oh, what if Dr. we did this, and this? And now, of course, it's back on me to make it happen. But...
That's good of Dr. Bass to know that. It's
Yes.
always best when people bring you ideas
To throw it right back at
to
them.
say like, oh, that's a great idea. Yes, let's do it. Go for it.
And I guess in a way, that's what happened when Dr. Bass said, I need to find out what happens to dead bodies. They're like, well, you do that. That can be your project. And you can read all of this in the books, autographed books that you can get at bonezones.com, or you can get things like these water tumblers. There's challenge coins, there's hats, there's t-shirts, there's all sorts of Dr. Bill Bass merchandise. So if you're a fan of the world's greatest forensic anthropologist, as I am, and you want some of this stuff, or you just want to come find out when and where he's going to be speaking next, bonezones.com. Don't forget the S, because that would not be the right website. It's Bone Zones.
Bone Zones.
Z, with an S on it.
These are nice.
These are nice. They're still loose. So I gave you one of the silicone straws that I got for my daughter.
They're very fancy.
Because they go well with the cup, you see.
Oh, they didn't come with it? It was something
No, normally, you saw how well I manage.
I know that you like to mix water and technology.
Yeah, it's still a little damp under here. I managed to wrap my mic cord around the thing, and anyway, knock it over, make a mess.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I'm hoping that Jere doesn't see that part of the episode. I guess I could cut that out. I mean that you don't see the spill. The camera wasn't on. I'm just talking about now, where I'm owning up to it.
Did you spill anything when you went out
to
to dinner this weekend?
I was very well behaved.
You were?
And I no matter what I do, no matter how many napkins I put on me, I feel like I always get something on the whatever corner. But I did wear an eating shirt.
Oh, good.
And not the show shirt, because I went to the Secret City Improv Festival. In fact, here, I'll show you. This was the playbill from the Secret City Improv Festival, which they went ahead and paid the playbill for the actual license, and we're in here. I'm thanked in here. They got all these troops in here that did a fine job at the Improv Festival, and this now goes into the playbill archives.
Very nice.
It's an official playbill for that festival, so that might be something to keep in your back pocket for future shows that you produce.
That's really nicely done.
Yeah, and the guy Aaron printed it himself, but you could either pay to have playbill printed, or you can, I guess it's a little cheaper, just have them send you the PDF and you print it yourself.
Yeah, it's very nice.
But anyhow, so in all the course of all of this, it happens to coincide with a visit from my wife's sister and her husband. And in fact, the last time when we were recording, they showed up early. They had already come. In fact, I think they came here and got here before you showed up.
They had been here before me.
And then when I told them you were coming, they're like, okay, we'll go to a movie.
Yeah. They ran away quickly.
Well, I mean, like I said, they could have sat here and watched. I'd rather them, subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch it that way.
And smash that little button.
Yes,
subscribe.
Yes. So they showed up 4 days early. I think they were supposed to come on Saturday, and they came on the Wednesday.
How did that make you feel?
Well, actually, I felt complimented, because they said that wherever they were wasn't as good, and they wanted to come here instead.
That's so sweet. That's so nice.
So we weren't 100% ready for them. We're like, well, we've kind of done some straightening, and actually, to be honest, most of the straightening we had done to get the room ready to make a video.
Right.
This room. So they showed up early, and the house is nice enough, and the bedroom was ready, the guest room was ready for them, and things happened. And they're very generous people, and they want to go out to dinner almost every night, and they want to go do adventures. So they went to Pigeon Forge to go to Christmas stores. They went to downtown Knoxville to see James White's Fort.
Oh, nice.
And Blunt Mansion, which is across the street, and Market Square. They went to some Mediterranean restaurant, Copita, and that's new. They did all of that, and then the next day they go to the Museum of Appalachia.
Nice.
And they came to the Secret City Improv Festival. They were
busy.
We worked them, or they worked themselves, because they wanted to go do things. And, while I'm here doing radio and editing and all the things I'm doing.
That's great, though. There is so much to do in Knoxville.
Yeah.
And Blunt Mansion has a brand new garden, I think. That's really beautiful. Yeah.
Well, they enjoyed it very, very much. And I even told them, I said, when you go to James White's Fort, ask for Sam Maynard. Tell him I said hi. He'll say something offensive, and then everyone will laugh.
Perfect.
So there's apparently, when they told the guy at the front desk they wanted to say hi to Sam Maynard, they apparently got a huge eye roll, like,
That's funny.
Because they weren't looking for free tickets. They were just,
Right.
wanted to see the guy.
What he would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, he's a character.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other things that happened is I go out to the Secret City Improv Festival on Friday night by myself, and they've been down Knoxville, and Jerry's home. They're all sitting around, and they decide to start watching the Ted Lasso. The sister and brother-in-law have already seen, I think, all the Ted Lassos, but neither Jerry nor I have. And they said, "Oh, Jerry, you got to watch some Ted Lasso." So they put it on, and and Jerry made them stop because she was laughing so hard. And they're like, "What? That's not even funny." Because something happened. They're calling Ted a wanker and making the inappropriate hand gesture. And then Ted says, "Oh, thank you for that. I'm a visual learner." And which is a pretty funny line.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
But Jerry is dying, and they're like, "What?" And because now I'm now Ted Lasso to her, because I've, for the past 10 years, realized or more that I'm a visual learner.
Right.
That I need to see it in writing to make sure I learn somebody's name. I need to, actually, I figured this out when I was failing miserably at Dancing with the Knoxville Stars. I couldn't learn the beat, I couldn't learn the steps. So my dance partner said, "Will you just stand there?" Because everything I'm telling you is going in one ear and out the other. "You just stand there, and my professional dance partner and I will go through the moves in front of you, and you're going to watch his feet." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
And then you could do it?
I could do it better. And she says, "See, I figured it out." She figured out that I'm a visual learner.
Yeah.
And that I can't hear the beat anyway. I'm totally beat deaf.
You can't be beat deaf.
Well, that's what she called it. She had me sit on the subwoofer, and try to tap out the beat, and I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it? But you can hear what's happening out of...
Well, I thought of this. I thought of you because I was doing radio, right? And I got the headphones on.
Yeah.
And it was like Sweet Dreams by Eurythmics. You get 7 seconds,
Okay.
bump. And I got, I know the intro in my head, right? But when I am talking, I do not hear it.
Well, when you're talking, yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, you're trying to make sure you shut up in time before Annie Lennox starts singing. And I'm more reliant. In the old days, I used to have a big clock that would count you down to 0, and you just stop talking when it gets to 0.
And so again, it was visual.
Well, on this system, I don't have that.
Right.
So I've just learned how long 7 seconds is. So I do my shtick, and I think, well, that should be 7 seconds, and then I go back and check, and sure enough, I've just barely stopped talking before she started singing, but I didn't hear one note of the intro while I had it in my headphones. All I could hear is my own voice coming back to me.
That makes sense, though.
All
mean, I can't hear I can't hear any piano or orchestra really when I'm singing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I feel a little better.
Yeah.
Because you know that you have to know the piece, and they keep up.
Yeah.
They accompany you.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So
So I'm a visual learner. So Jerry thinks this is hilarious, and then goes on to tell me, after watching a couple of these Ted Lassos, that his trick seems to be to compliment everybody.
Okay.
Now here he is in a strange country trying to coach a sport that he doesn't understand with a bunch of cruel soccer stars who don't have any interest. They're not giving him any slack at all. He's just some idiot, and really he's hired to tank the team. The owner is trying to sabotage the team, and she wants him to fail. That's why she hired him. But he doesn't know that. He is going to make the best of the situation, and he's going to try to succeed, and he's going to coach these players the best he knows how. And he does that by building them up and then saying, if you did this a little...
Encouraging them,
if you did this a little differently, you'd even be better, And
they're like, what is this nice coach that we have? Yeah.
So my wife, again, is laughing at me. She says, well, that's so like you because you like to compliment people. I do. I mean, I think it's nice to compliment people. I like getting compliments and treat others the way you would want to be treated, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So getting back to out to dinner with the sister-in-law and the brother-in-law, and we go to a place that I thought would be really good. It's Razzleberry's. Razzleberry's Ice Cream Lab in Oak Ridge.
Razzleberry's Ice Cream Lab?
And and there's like a JV football game going on across the street at Blankenship Field, and all these kids are coming in to get their Superman ice cream or whatever it is they're getting. And because of the way the improv festival worked out, I had to be back at the theater at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Can you get like real food at Razzleberry?
That's what I'm getting to. Most people don't realize you can get real food because they have this big car that's shaped like a pig that parks out front.
That's fantastic.
And the guy, he's from Germany, I think, or Austria or somewhere in Europe.
Cool.
And he cooks barbecue. He cooks pork barbecue all the time, or chicken barbecue. It's, you can always get barbecue there and a burger.
Anytime that a barbecue joint has a pig outside,
yeah,
you know it's good barbecue.
Well, everything is pig themed. Everything. There's pigs on the coffee mugs. There's pig decorations in the entire place. There's a painting of a pig on a toilet inside the men's room.
Wow.
There's everything is pig.
That's amazing.
So, but I also happen to know that the guy, in addition to cooking burgers and pulled pork barbecue, he also cooks something that he and his family would like to eat. So, in fact, I'm going to have to pull up the name of it and show you this because it's on my wife's Instagram.
Pie? Razzleberry pie?
No, but we ask them, we get there, first of all, and dinner is not going to start until 5. We're there at 4:30.
Okay.
So now
So you have to eat ice cream first.
Well, Jerry's a little panicked that, oh no, what are we going to do? Because Frank's got to leave by 5:30, and we can't order dinner till 5. Do we have enough time?
Yeah.
We skipped lunch so that we could have an early dinner, an early supper.
Really hungry.
So, and they've had this conversation, and me, I'm just, I'm in another
Like,
planet.
look at all of these pigs.
I'm walking around. There's a section where they sell imported cookies, cakes, candies from Germany.
Nice.
And all these, so this whole area,
Yeah.
these cakes and cookies I never heard of, and these sodas I never heard of, and
You're
these
just like
beers
a
I
kid
never
in a
heard
candy
of.
shop.
So I'm over there.
Yeah.
And they say, we don't know what we're going to do. We can't have dinner until 5. We can't do anything until 5 o'clock. And you've got to be there for the 6 o'clock show, ready to go. You've got to change your shirt out of your eating shirt into your other shirt. What are we going to do? I said, I think we might be able to make it. If we just ordered, I said, let me go look and see at least what the special is. We can try to figure out what we're going to get. And it says, so I asked the lady, there's no menu, there's a clipboard.
Okay.
And my wife said, we couldn't even find the clipboard. He was still writing it. He was still writing down what was on the,
Nice. Like, so every day it's different.
Yeah. And the number one thing is called Kassler Ripchen. Kassler Ripchen?
Kassler Ripchen.
Yeah, whatever
Like
that
Ripchen.
is. So I said, I don't know what that is. So we started Googling it. And
Looks good.
I told the lady, I said, I usually, my wife and I come here like when the Nutcracker's in town, and we always just, we never know what we're going to get. We just get whatever you guys are having. And we had these out-of-town relatives who were in here, and we thought we told them about it. So we're Googling what this is, and she sees this, and she comes over and says, "Oh, that's a bad picture. It's more like it's like a pork chop that he's marinated for the week, and you can only get it. He doesn't cook it every day because it takes him a week to marinate the pork chop and then smoke it on applewood."
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. I'm gonna have to go.
And then he says, and our friends, the farmers, they bring over the applewood, from their trees, and he smokes it out back. I said, well. And meanwhile, it's still only 4:45, right? But the lady, whatever has happened, the lady goes ahead and takes our orders and brings us 4 of these, and they're on the table before, like at 4:50,
Wow.
And my wife looks at me. She's like, what? They don't start serving dinner until 5 o'clock. It's not yet 5 o'clock, and there's 4 of these delicious meats on the table in front of us. What did you do? I said, I didn't do anything. I just
talked to them.
My wife says, did you bat your big blue eyes at her and get her to do this? I'm like, well, I told her how much we like it here.
It brings me to another point, Frank. I'm glad you brought this up. This persuasive personality that you have just by asking.
I wasn't even trying.
I know you weren't, but I went into Jolene's, the store across the street from Gray's Burgers that we had been in.
Yeah, we did on the episode. We went to Jolene's.
Yeah. So I wanted to
Jolene's
say hi.
on Bruce Street. Oh, so you went back when you went to your adventure.
On my adventure, yes. And
With
I
your
walked in,
husband.
I saw Christina, the manager there, and she was chatting with me. And
Did they watch the show?
They hadn't watched it yet. They were planning on it.
Because you were there like the day it came out, or the
Yes.
day after it came out. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So she asked me how we started doing this show together. And I was kind
That's
of
a good
telling
question.
her how accidentally I joined the show.
You said to me during one of the Tosca rehearsals, you know, my husband thinks you and I should do a show together. And I said, well, what do you think? Or something to that effect. I said, actually,
something like that.
Your timing is quite impeccable.
Yeah, something like that.
Because I am lacking a co-host at the moment.
And Christina said, well, he seems like he would be very convincing. So that's just, I guess, your aura, you know?
Well, I did talk her into letting us film it up, film it in the store.
So I'm not surprised that you talked them into giving you dinner early. It's just your reputation.
Well, wait. So we started doing the show together because you and I knew each other.
Yes.
And we've known each other for a while.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember how we met?
I'm assuming it was because I interviewed you.
It was.
Because we talked about this once before, that when I had to interview somebody for a PBS show, they said, pick someone you're comfortable interviewing. And I thought of, well, who have I interviewed a lot? And I thought of you.
You have interviewed me a lot.
That's good, though.
Yeah, it is.
You're still here.
Yeah, still a friend.
You know what? Like, I tend to become friends with everyone I interview.
Well,
I love them. I
know.
More often than not. It's just this
them.
weird feeling that when you interview somebody, you get all up in their business. You learn all this stuff about them. You feel like you know them.
Yeah.
You know, you've befriended them because they've told you their life story.
That's right. Yeah. And I've told you my life story multiple times.
So how did we meet, though? Was it?
It was at WNOX.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of remembered meeting Julia Mitri.
Well,
and that's kind of one of your first memories.
Well, because you brought her along, and
I brought Julia Mitri, and yeah, she looked fabulous. I remember
it
was so funny.
We have photographic proof that you also looked fabulous.
Okay, but Julia had she always looks fabulous, but she had really, gone out of her way to get dressed up.
First ever radio interview.
Yes, so she was very excited.
She was quite taken by the idea.
Yes.
All right.
So and I was kind of laughing, so I was like, no one's going to be able to see you, which is why we took photos. Because you're going to be on the radio.
Yeah.
But she was very excited, and that was cute. What was funny about that is the first time we met was at WNOX that same season, 2017. But it was for a La Traviata interview.
Not the chocolate and wine.
It might have been chocolate and wine.
As I feel like one of the first things I ever did for...
I know Brandon was there.
Marble City was the chocolate and wine interview. So I was really mostly focused, obviously, on Maurice and Brandon and was it Michael Rogers? Or I don't remember who else was in the cast, but they were all amazing.
Yes. Oh, so it must have been. It could have been chocolate and wine.
Well, but it was a radio interview. It was
a radio interview.
That wasn't about you?
Yeah, it was not. I don't know. I know I was there, and I was wearing tennis shoes. I was wearing no makeup. I had glasses on. Came the complete opposite of Julia Mitri. And that's probably why you don't remember. And also my car tire, the same tire that needed air. Yeah. It
needed air that day too?
It not only needed air, but it looked like somebody ripped the tire. Like I had a complete flat.
On your way to this first time interview with me?
No, when I came out of the interview.
It happened at the station?
Yes. Somehow I came out of the station and my tire was no longer in operation.
If you parked in the Shock Jocks parking space, they might have thought you were...
Who knows?
That's terrible. We should have reported that to somebody.
I don't know if it was done on purpose or if I just drove over a rock. I mean, it was gravelly.
Tell you what we'll do is we'll wrap up the episode and I'll tell you a few stories off the air.
Okay. So we'll find out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. I also had to get to a rehearsal that day.
Yeah.
James actually drove over, gave me his car, and he dealt with mine so I could go to rehearsal.
Good thing you had the keys.
Yeah.
And a phone.
That day. Thank goodness.
Well, all right. So there you have it. Another episode of the Frank and Friends show. And I've learned something new that apparently I overlooked. How many years ago would that have been?
Oh, I don't know. 4 or 5?
Yeah, at least. Maybe more. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're my friend. I'm glad it survived that rocky start.
It was not a rocky start. It's been dramatic.
Well, I'll put up the picture of And we need to put up the picture of Yumi and Julia Mitri.
Yeah.
You know.
With the blonde. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can enjoy that. Thanks so much for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, for visiting our website.
At frankandfriendshow.com.
Tell your friends, do subscribe on YouTube and all the other methods. Thanks to bonezones.com. Don't forget the S for sponsoring this episode. And we'll be back again with more Smoky Mountain adventures and more regular episodes of the Frank and Friends Show. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
And we'll talk to you next time.